Hi biology friends, it's Sarah, your other biology professor. Let's talk about different types of natural selection. So for any environment, there are particular selective pressures. These are forces that impact certain phenotypes, affecting their ability to survive and, importantly, to reproduce. These can include things like predators, pathogens, climate, weather events, resource availability, and so on. If we have a population, and in that population there is variation for a particular trait, and because of selective pressures, individuals with certain favorable phenotypes, certain favorable adaptations, are more likely to survive and reproduce, those individuals are also more likely to pass on those alleles that encode those favorable traits to the next generation. So over time, that variation and the alleles encoding it will become more common in the population. We're changing the composition of the gene pool. But how are we changing it? Let's look at three types of natural selection. So we'll start with a population of cacti. And in that population, there is variation for how densely packed the spines are on the cactus. Spines on the cactus deter predators. So having a higher density of spines means you're less likely to be eaten by a predator. If the spines are too dense, parasitic insects like to lay their eggs in the dense spines. When those eggs hatch, the insect larvae consume the cactus. So there's selective pressures against having spines that are too dense and having spines that are not dense enough. So in this environment, having an intermediate density of spines is the most favorable. Over time, the phenotypic distribution shifts toward a moderate spine count. Not too many, not too few, just enough to balance out both risks. This is stabilizing selection, selective pressures acting against the extremes, favoring the intermediate phenotype. Elsewhere, we've got a population of crabs, and in this population, there's variation for color. Some crabs are very light, others are very dark, and other crabs have intermediate colors in between. On this particular beach, there are rocks that are very light, and there are rocks that are very dark. This means that the light-colored crabs can hide from predators on the light rocks. The dark-colored crabs can hide from predators when they're on the dark rocks, but the medium-colored crabs kind of stick out everywhere. Light and dark phenotypes are advantageous here, whereas having an intermediate phenotype leaves you more open to predation, less likely to survive, and less likely to reproduce. Selection results in a shift of phenotypes away from the middle and toward both extremes. This is called disruptive selection, where the extreme phenotypes are favored. One more population. Now we've got some birds. And this year, big seeds are the most abundant food source for this bird population. Birds with large beaks are able to easily break these big seeds, while birds with smaller beaks struggle. That means that the birds with biggest beaks have the most access to food. That makes them more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on those big beaks to the next generation. This is going to shift our distribution to one side, here toward the side with the big beaks. This is directional selection. Here, one extreme phenotype, the big beaks in this scenario, is the best adapted. Those were three types of natural selection, one mechanism for evolutionary change. There are other ways besides natural selection to change the frequency of phenotypes and the alleles controlling them in a population. Here's a list, but we're going to leave it at natural selection for today. Drop me a like if you learned something about natural selection. Subscribe for more biology, and I'll see you next time. Bye.